And one of the things too, just to kind of ping off this too, is and the dynamic that I forgot to mention is the dynamic, Vivian, between you and Lana. Was there dialogue around that too? Because I really love that dynamic with the two of you, and you could see the love, and you could also see the frustration. I would be very curious what the conversations were like that, or just even the thought process in the script, or just what that was like for the two of you as actors to come to that.
Well,
we talked a little bit about it.
We talked a little bit about it, but I think there was already an understanding of the dynamic. Like, I mean, she's her sister-in-law. Like, she's family regardless. And with family, sometimes we get frustrated with them, and then there's also a level of compassion and deep understanding, given that, they've lost their parents and Ben has raised her for the most part. So there's that empathy and patience, and then obviously throw in an extreme amount of hormones all of a sudden. I mean, it's really hard to just be cool all the time. But Stacy is going through a lot, like just on a physical level too, and that has impacted how she feels on a day-to-day basis. There's a lot of pressure around IVF and stress around IVF for the couple. And Vivian doesn't really, Stacy, oh my God, help me. Beth doesn't really understand that. I'm looking at your name. She's kind of wrapped up in her world as Beth is. And Stacy is, I feel, more, conscientious of like the whole and how everything is affecting her. Sorry, there is like drills and air conditioning.
You can't hear anything.
You sound great. You sound great.
I had to run out there and tell them all, please just give me 5 more minutes. Sorry. I felt like I love that scene on the couch when Stacey's has her hair wrapped up in a towel, and I think she's really curious about how Beth's mind works. Like, that scene could have been more combative, but it was a choice of mine to really take interest in her and how she thinks. Like, why would you think that's okay to leave your child there or not? Like, why would you, like, she really doesn't understand how Beth thinks all the time, especially Stacey being a lawyer and being like super type A, and, they really are the opposite characters. But that's also what is so great about their dynamic.
That scene at the roller rink is just so wonderfully rich it just, I know, I'm just going to gush about that, the way you guys play it, but just the writing, it's very subtle, it's really earned, it's not at all sentimental or easy, it's just fantastic. That's all.
To kind of jump off that too, Anthony, I love all the details, like in the performances and the characters, and I love like things like even the fanboy end moment, where he's reading. I feel like he's like learning something too and reading a different type of book that he wouldn't be reading. I love like the detail with the setting up the ex. You could see why she would be attracted to the ex, what they had in the relationship, and then but also why that is not a toxic relationship to not be in. So I love all those textures and the different things happening there, the sweet moments. I always look at it as when I do a project, what can I learn from this experience? If I play a character, what can I learn from this experience? If I'm writing something, what can I learn from this? If I'm on set, what can I learn from this project or this experience? Did you learn anything about yourself as an artist, as a human being in the process?
That's a great question.
That's a great question.
I mean, I'll try to be brief because I know you're getting the wrap up. I'll just say that for me, obviously, I learned a ton because it was my first feature. So I think everything that goes along with that, but also I think I learned that I can do it. I myself was even, unsure of like, how is this going to be where I'm, playing this role that's in like every scene, and then I'm also directing the film, and I need to be inside and outside, back and forth, and how is that switch going to be? And so learning how to do it, how I could do it, and then also just learning that I was capable of doing it that was huge for me, and that I loved it, and that it ended up being an incredible pleasure, so much that I just did it again. So, you know, yeah, that would be a huge amount of growth and learning for me.
Yes, I feel like I continue to learn that, or it continues to be validated, this idea that you can just sort of lean into, you don't have to have things all known before going to work. Yeah, preparation, of course, having a certain kind of preparation, but it's really not about the preparation. You know, I'm going to totally mangle the quote, but Charlie Parker, the late great jazz musician, it was something like, you know, you learn your notes, you practice your instrument, and then you forget all that shit and blow. But that you just let go. You dive in fully armed with your stuff, but you don't stay attached, and so that it's possible to do that with a wonderfully alive and available group of artists. Like that's where the gold is. And then it winds up on screen. You know, thankfully sometimes things get weird. Sometimes things get weird in post-production, you know, where they don't kind of wind up on screen the way they felt on set. It's also great. You learn that vibe can actually translate into a finished film. That's always incredibly validating.
Is that something that you feel you got to this point by, you know, you have a large body of work, and, you know, is that something that a freedom that you discover now that you like, is that you could only accumulated through a large body of work, through having worked on this craft for all these years?
Yeah, I suppose so, on a certain level. Yeah, I've been pretty lucky with the kind of people that I've been working with on film that have generally been that way. Rick Linklater, you know, with Dazed and Confused, it was very much that kind of spirit. So yeah, it's cool. I guess I'm learning that you can keep that legacy alive, even in the face of this nonsense, like event movie Hollywood craziness that we're living through, that this sort of purity of approach can still happen and matter and land. That's really great to continue to see.
Oh, that's great. Lana?
I'm so sorry. This is like a comedy hour over here.
You did a scene change.
All of a sudden, I don't even know if I'm on camera. I can't see anything.
You are.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, Jesus, I don't even remember what the question was, but I was getting.
So what did you learn?
What
did you learn in the process about yourself? You know, any
God.
Or how did you grow as a person?
I think that we can make anything happen if we really wanted, right? Like, I mean, it's true. Like, you can really make anything happen if you really want something. And I mean, like, I wanted to be here tonight, and now you guys are in my car with me. But
Thank you.
God, I mean, I learned. I mean, there's always something to learn. I feel like I learned that you can tell great stories, and you don't need a gazillion dollars to do so. You know, I learned so much from just looking at Anthony and seeing how present he is and how real he is. And that gave me the permission to just breathe and be in my body and be as grounded and as real as he is. And Vivian, watching her wear hat after hat and just it seamlessly transition from character to director. And, you know, so I learned a lot from watching other people do what they do so well. And it really gave me the permission to be able to, like, you know, show up and do what I do so well. So that was pretty great.
That's a great answer.
Yeah. Thanks for your patience, guys.
Awesome.
I thank you guys for making such a beautiful piece. Like, as not just a fellow artist, but just as a human, I think the beautiful thing about art and storytellers is you get to articulate and express the human condition, the human experience to people. And it's a cool thing to see that dynamic and see yourself in it, and to learn things from you know, watching an artistic piece. You know, one of the things I learned too is like, oh, I'm a soaker, and that's a bad thing to be. But there's the brother sister dynamics, the the frustration and the growth within all the characters. It's just a beautiful thing to witness, and I really, you know, it made my last 24 hours to watch it twice. So thank you guys for making such a beautiful piece.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much, Sean.
Thank you, Sean.